So, welcome to Algebra 1. As I've mentioned in class, I said that this setup for how the class is going to run is probably a little different than what you've seen previously. As we work through the year, videos will be posted on Schoology and also mentioned in class. The outlines are going to be available at your disposal, so let me know if you need those outlines ahead of time. But I'll try to update those as much as I can on Schoology so that if you need those printed at your convenience, you can totally do that. If you want to move ahead in the course, that's totally an option. But I will be consistent with due dates. I will be making sure that as we move through the course, each example from the videos, including each detail that's made, should be made in your notes, whether you're completing your notes on loose leaf or you're printing out the outline accordingly. Please make sure that you're filling in everything that I fill in. Some steps along the way are going to be done for you already, but please make sure that you're filling in everything that we fill in. This makes me know that you've been watching all of the videos, you've been watching every little bit, you've been seeing every little detail, and you're meeting me halfway. The material does get tricky, but if I know that you're taking the notes and you're watching the videos, I can do my best to help you out from there. So please keep in mind to write down every example, write down every detail, write down every step that we take. And you can always pause these videos and go back and see what's going on with them. Always keep in mind that you can reach me through email at ccortez@cohs.com. And always, you can ask a question in class. Please do this if you get stuck at any point throughout the year. It can be in class or talk to me if you're working on something individually. Please voice concern if you're not too sure about what's going on. So let's get this started. With 1.1 dealing with variables and expressions, a lot of algebra does build. So although we're working with the first chapter, the first section, and some of these terms may seem like you know them already, but this is all going to build pretty quickly. So some of these I may run through rather fast, but please let me know if you have any questions along the way. Some basic key terms that will come up again and again, just so that we're all talking the same kind of language when we work through these types of problems. A variable should have been introduced to you previously in pre-algebra, and this is a symbol that represents a value, or usually a letter. So the letter could be something like A, B, C, D, Z, Y, so on and so forth. An algebraic expression includes at least one variable. So an algebraic expression could be something like 3x squared, or y to the third power, z to the -1 power. Pretty much if there's at least a variable, then it's considered an algebraic expression or a monomial, which means that there's only one term. And we'll see this vocabulary again in further sections. A numerical expression includes numbers but no variables. So this could just be something like 3 or 4 or -10. But no variables here, so no letters. We'll see in this section that we're piecing together a lot of equations using words that are given to us. So some of the words that will imply that we're using addition would be plus, add, total, sum, in all, more than. Subtraction, we'll see difference, less than, minus, fewer, less, take away. We don't see take away too much, but that's another way that you could think of it. With multiplication, product is definitely one I see a bit. Times, of, so you might see 3 of 4, which would be something like 12. Twice or triple, which is saying that you're multiplying something 2 times or 3 times. Quotient and equally divided could be representing division. So be on the lookout for these words. You have them in your outline and you also have them here. So if you see these, you should be thinking about what they're going to be representing. With this first example, they have us going from a word format to an expression. So we're writing an algebraic expression from each of the verbal expressions. Although algebra is eventually going to be a lot of numbers and variables and exponents. In my eyes, if you can actually talk about a term in a full sentence, that shows a really higher understanding. So that's why we're dealing with this situation here. It shows that you know more about what's going on. So if we see this expression of 32 more than a number n, notice that n isn't given to us, but that's okay. So if we see 32, this is more than this number n. So what do you think more than is going to represent? What operation do you think this is going to be? Well, as we see from the table, more than is given as addition, seen here. So we know that we have 32 more than the number n that we see here. 32 is given. So this is the best way that we can express this. Another way you could express this might trip you up a little bit, but you could also be writing n plus 32. That's totally fair game. For 2, this has 58 less than a number n. This is going to be a little tricky. So 58 less than a number n. So if you have the number n, it's 58 less than that. So you kind of have to think of this a little backwards. So we definitely have n, but we have 58 less than that. So if we have n, how can we bring in this 58 where it's less than? Because we have n, and we want to take 58 because it's 58 less than. What operation would make sense here? Hopefully you're saying subtraction. And you wouldn't want to say 58 minus n because then that's taking away n. So be careful there. I'll give you a moment for the next two. So if you want to pause this video, give those a shot, but I'll give you a moment for the next two to try on your own. For these dealing with product or multiplying, so this should be 8 multiplying with x, or you can just have 8x. When you really know what you're doing, you can just leave 8x. For the quotient of a number and 5, let's call this number n. Once again, if we're doing the quotient, this is implying division. So n is going to be on the top part of the fraction. This is n dividing by 5. We could also express this as a fraction where n is up top and 5's on the bottom. For the most part, I'll be sticking with fractions, so I would personally stick with n over 5. I'll give you a moment for these next 4. They switch up the words that are being used, but you may want to pause this, try these out on your own. Look for the key words that are highlighted. Those should help you out. For 1, we have 6 times a number x, so 6x. So we're multiplying. If we're taking the quotient of 18 and a number a, we should have 18 over a. Or you could say 18 divided by a. You have 6 increased by a number y, so both of these are positive because you're adding on y.